get a man drunk enough, he will tell you the truth about anything. I need to tell you guys the truth that was admitted to me by this man who was drunk like 3 weeks ago, and we were just having a regular conversation. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it because he basically blatantly admitted that the reason why him and so many other men are jealous of women is because they feel like women can control their lust, and they feel like men are controlled by their lust. When he admitted that to me, I was not surprised. I been knew this about men, but what was surprising is what clicked in my mind after. And basically what clicked in my mind after is that religion is a lustful man's tool to control women, because women are not controlled by their lustful urges or their sexual desires. And men know this. Deep down inside, they know this. Whether they want to admit it or not, doesn't matter. Men realize that women can control their lust and they can't control their own lust. So what they decided to do is, in order to have a sense of control and power, they decided that it was women's fault that they're so lustful, so it's women who must be controlled. And as someone who used to be in a religious community, in a religious family, and like heavily involved in religion, I can tell you from experience that the more religious a man is, the more lustful he is, typically. Because lustful men need the fear of God in their hearts. They need the fear of punishment. They need the fear of hell and fire in order to not be disgusting animals. They know that their lust is disgusting. They know that their sexual urges are weird. They know this. But instead of reflecting on what they can do to be better and how to express their sexual urges in a healthy, creative way, they've decided that women are the ones to blame, and that in order for them to avoid being controlled by their lust or by their sexual urges, they need to control women. You know, this actually makes a lot of sense when I think about my dad and my upbringing, because my dad was a very controlling, obsessive, religious freak. So I grew up thinking like, oh, he's so devoted, he loves God, this, that, until I strayed from the religion and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I saw how deeply angry he got about that. And I was like, oh, it was always about control. It was never about you actually fearing God. It was about you fearing loss of control. So using this concept of God, of a male God that's in the sky watching my every move, trying to plant a man in my head permanently to observe my actions and judge me, gave you a sense of control. Me rejecting that and deciding that actually I don't need this invisible man's point of view in my head nonstop in order for me to be a good person, when I realized that about myself, it scared the shit out of him. And it scares the shit out of most of them, which is why the first thing men do when women liberate themselves is take away women's rights. Is try to get them married off because of some religion or some man or some this or some that. It always comes down to women's lives being limited and restricted in order for men to feel some sort of sense of control. I genuinely don't know what it's going to take for these guys to realize that they do have control. The control is just over themselves, not anybody else. You have no control over any other man or woman on this planet, period. You can control yourself, though, but that's not enough for them, because they don't actually want to control themselves. They don't actually want to take accountability. They don't actually want to improve. They don't even want to understand themselves. They want everybody around them to cater to them and their desires and their needs so that they can feel a little powerful, so that they can feel like they have some sort of control over something, instead of just controlling themselves and being better. And I think that's really sad and really pathetic.
Well, sometimes you don't even need substance of any kind to get the truth out of him. Sometimes they will just tell you the truth as it is because they do that. They get a thrill sometimes in hurting women, right? They will tell you that just to get a rise out of you. They will get you that because there's something about them that excites them. That when you're angry, they like seeing you angry. They like seeing you all over the place, looking like you cannot relocate yourself. You know what's more, like what sorry kitty, what pieces of a man it will be your ability to control your anger, your rage. Like you're not showing him that I'm angry, even though you are, and you want to smash things and you want to yell at him. But even I, with myself, I know that nothing gets learned when you're yelling. Nothing gets passed over when you are all over the place and you can't relegate yourself. But you know what gets listened to? When you share your opinion and then you leave it like that. You don't have to constantly re-explain yourself. You don't have to say why I'm not a Christian anymore, why whatever. It's just your actions of being and self and being indulged in the way that you are as a person. You get to see. You're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I really get it. And sometimes I feel like it's not just even in men as well. Have you seen religious women as well? They do the most. And sometimes they praise their God whenever they've done something wrong. And I was thinking about it just about today, that even in praising God, not because this God likes to be praised, but I mean, your entire life just needs you to praise your circumstances, regardless of where you are in life. You need to literally praise them. And I don't like, it's the weirdest thing to hear. Even though I'm not a Christian, I'm like, I need to praise I need to praise and be happy and ecstatic even though I'm going through the most. Like I can admit that I'm going through the most, but I don't have to dwell in going through the most. Like I need to constantly, and that's hard work. That's hard work. To constantly check yourself and be like, oh my God, that's hard work. And I feel like men in the society based in patriarchy, based by all these other things, they get to be lazy because things are handed out to them. What do you mean that I get to hold myself accountable? I have an outside God that I can blame my problems to. Not outside God, but we can say Satan in this regard. I have somebody to blame my problems to, and I have somebody to rescue me. So, what do you mean that I have to hold myself accountable when God said that I need to put my problems onto Him? And you should. Universal language. Put your problems to the unknown. Let the world or the universe know your dreams. And don't try to bring about things that you don't understand. And once you understand that simple concept, you understand how simple life can be. But people use it for manipulative tactics and control and subjugate other people and put them in another bondage of hell. It's just I'm sorry, guys. I'm just tired. But honestly, it's just another mind cycle of something. It's just weird when you think about it in that regard. That people just never learn. They learn the hard way, literally, literally. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.